Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Shifty Candy. I have to be very careful how I spell this when I'm copying and pasting the title, of course. And you can see Sleuth there is staring at this candy very, very carefully because they're a bit shifty. Now, today's puzzle is, of course, all about shifted lines from gUBBLOR. And we've played these types of puzzles before where they're essentially candied colored cropkey dots that are a little bit ambiguous. Now, I believe, I'm going to just double check this before I say it, yes, it is a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. So hopefully not as difficult as the one that we've solved from gUBBLOR recently, which was more like 3.5. This one should be a little bit more approachable for a Sunday morning. Anyway, that's what I'm telling myself. I'm making sure I have plenty of time to solve it and even pause and come back to it if I get stuck because I'm recording this the day before. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with Shifted Lines 117, Shifty Candy by gUBBLOR. Now I appreciate that the rules in here are in fairly small font. As always, they're down below, and of course with the link that you can use to play, you've got the full rule sets in the software itself. Rules wise, we've got the following set of rules. Normal Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row, every column of course, and then every 3x3 box. Then we have the shifted lines. So adjacent digits within the same box on a shifted line, these are these bright yellow lines, kind of almost fluorescent nuclear lines. Adjacent digits within the same box on a shifted line share both parity, as in even/odd, and polarity, as in low/high. Whenever the line enters a new box, either the parity or the polarity shifts, never both. Shifted lines can never have a 5 on it, and digits may repeat on lines. Right, that's a lot of words to say the following. If this cell is 2, this cell, which is on the same shifted line in the same box, has to be both even and low. That can only be a 4. When I cross over, I have to shift either the parity, so this could be odd, such as 1, 3, or polarity, so it's even, but a high digit with 6 and 8. So that would be a perfectly set of pencil-marked shifted lines. Ambiguous dots. There are dots of 4 different colors in the puzzle, and 4 different constraints. It's up to the solver, that's us, to deduce which color is paired with which constraint. Each color has only one constraint it identifies as, but dots are allowed to act as more than one constraint. There are no negative constraints, and the dots could be any one of the following 4. X's, so adjacent cells connected by an X must sum up to 10. So if, red wasn't the X, we obviously don't know if it is, and this cell was a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that these 2 cells add up to 10. V's, adjacent cells connected with a V must sum up to 5, so if blue was the V, and that cell was a 2, this would have to be a 3. Now, the emphasis here on no negative constraints mean if that's an 8 and that's a 7, clearly these would have been red dots. The absence of them is not a problem under today's rule sets. We also have rule number 3, black cropkey dots. A black dot between cells would be in a 2-to-1 ratio. So if we assume that yellow is the black dot, this cell would have to be 1 or 4 because essentially one cell would be double the other. And then last but not least, we've got the white cropkey dots. A white dot between cells indicates cell values that are consecutive. So if this cell is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 for it to be consecutive. The ambiguity is kind of where it's going to get us stuck a bit, I think. As always, to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm just going to restart the clock, if I can actually find the right button, and see how I get on. So where am I going with all of this is kind of the trick question. So in my mind, I'm just taking it all in and I'm testing a few things, and I know I should speak my mind a bit more clearly. These 2 cells, for example, cannot be consecutive. The fact that they have to share the same parity, and parity, well, white cropkey dots obviously have to have an even digit and then an odd digit. You can't have two consecutive digits that are of the same parity. So we know, for example, that red cannot possibly be the white crop key dot. I also know that red could not be an X, because if that cell is a 2, that's an 8. They cannot possibly share polarity. The definition of adding up to a 10 would require a 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're never going to share polarity. So red is not an X. It's not a V, because if it is a V, again, to add up to 5, to add up to an odd digit, you need an even digit with an odd digit, and they can't share parity again. So it's not white, it's not an X, it's not a V, it can only be a black crop key dot. That's a nice way to start. The only two that I can think of that would work, because obviously 1, 2 doesn't work on a shifted line, 2, 4 does, 3, 6 doesn't, and 4, 8 doesn't. This is different parities, this is different polarities, these are different parities. Here is our break-in with 2, 4. Break-in, I mean, really pushing my luck with that statement here. But here is our first set of pencil marks. Right. So we have our black crop key dots down. You see, this doesn't help me, does it? Let me just have a think about this. So I was basically kind of debating, when do I need to do this? Right, something that I have done a few times before, and it's actually, to be fair, gUBBLOR's idea. Let me do this here up there instead. 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 5, 7, 9, excuse me. And think of these as the odd digits. I can do this. Yeah, I can. Odd. Hello. Why can't I do this? There you go. Even digits, low digits, and high digits. Right. So the way to sort of think about shifted lines, and it's true for equality cases, but today we're playing shifted lines, is that cells, whenever they cross a box, basically are moving either clockwise around this circle or anti-clockwise around this circle. They're never moving diagonally. So in essence, if this is a 2 or 4 in here, well, either I'm shifting parity by going going counterclockwise, or I'm shifting polarity by going clockwise. I can't shift both, so it's not 7 or 9. So one thing you could always do with shifted lines, and true with equality cages, is color things. You could say blue and red, and essentially every time you enter a new box, you have shifted colors. I'm going to leave this up for a second because I want to think about green, and I've really been looking at column 4 for a while, wondering what is going on here. So let's think about this a bit harder. So imagine that this is, essentially we have to shift, remember, polarity or parity. Let's imagine that this is a 1, 3. We've already established this is not a black crop key dot. If it is a white crop key dot, that works just fine. If it's a X, that won't work. No, it does work. Yes, it does work. Because I've shifted polarity, not parity. So X works, V works, white crop key dot works. This is not great. Green is still ambiguous. Right, let's think about this fairly complex setup in here. What is it telling us? Actually, to be fair, with 2, 4 in here, I have 3, 6, so I may as well use this. I don't know why I ignored the rest of box 9, because black crop key dots are either 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, or 4, 8. Essentially, I've just used the 2 and 4, so that's gone. 1, 2 is gone. 4, 8 is gone. Only 3, 6 is left. And then I have a blue digit, which can't be a 1, because that would require this to be a 3. It also can't be so it can't be 1, so it's not a low digit, it is a high digit. And the high digit can't be 6, 8, because I've already used the 6. So this has to be 7, 9. Now my options are 3, 7 or 6, 7, because in essence, the blue is either an X or it's a white crop key dot. I'm not going to be able to add up to 5 with 7 and 9. But in both scenarios, this is a 7 and this is a 9, and here is our first set of digits. Now, if this is an X, that would be 1. If this is a white crop key dot, that would be an 8, both of which are allowed. It clearly is not adding to a V, and it is not a black crop key dot. We've used these. Okay. This 2, 4 would have to go to 1, 3, or 6, 8. I'm not going to bother pencil marking. That's a ton of options. So we know that the blue is either consecutive or an X, and the green is either consecutive or an X. So we've basically covered the white crop key dots and the X's, leaving yellow as adding up to 5. So I know for certain that yellow is 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. Is it actually the only one? No. This cell now has to be 1, 3 because it's not 2, 4. Because to add up to 5 in 2 cells, it's either 1, 4 or 2, 3. And this cell not being 2 or 4, this is 1, 3. This would have to be 2, 4 to actually add up to 5. Just please keep this in mind. I need the space now back. So this is 2, 4. This is 1, 3, so that they are on the shifted lines. Then I'm shifting, and it can't be 2, 4. It has to be 7, 9. And that 7 gives me my next set of digits, 9 and 7. Lovely. Now, this here obviously has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This here has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Essentially, it's something like that. We just don't know which way around it is. Where am I going with this next? So, I'll tell you, my temptation, and I just can't tell if this is correct, is that this is not 2, 4 because this can't be 7, 9 and it can't be 2, 4. So it basically has to be the red digits that I had colored up here, 1, 3, 6, 8. But I don't think this is a problem. If this is 1, 3, nothing stops me from having 2, 4 in here, 2, 4 in here, and then this green dot could be whatever, 6, 8, to add up to 10, for example. So I think, I'm not actually sure I know yet which is which. Now, green and blue were either white crop key dots or X's. I'm obsessed with this kind of thing here, and I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm not sure it's actually giving me my money's worth, so to speak. Probably not worth my time. 9 is up here. Yeah, I'm not getting this. So this is not 1, 2, 3, 4 or 7, 9, and it can't be 5. So I feel like this has to be 6, 8. Because I'm basically left with nothing else. And then, yeah, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't have 5 on here, on shifted lines. Can't have 7 or 9. So it has to be 6, 8. And therefore, this is 2, 4 or 7, 9. We'll figure that out in a second. Now, these 3 digits, these 1, 2, 3, 4s, have to be in here. So one of them is there. One of them is here. Now, these 2 cells have to be, one of them includes the 5 and one of them includes the other 1, 2, 3, 4. The fact that this is a low digit tells me that's another low digit. Kind of the definition of it. Go on, Sleuth, you're very nearly there. I'm just going to work with something just as an assumption because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. So you see, I was going to say this can't add up to 5 because we'd need to have a 2, 4, essentially not these 2 digits. But the short answer is it's fine. It's fine on the shifted line and it's fine this way. Now let's try something else. Let's say it adds up to 10. It also is fine. 1, 3 shifting to 7, 9 is actually perfectly valid. And 1, 3, 1, 3 connecting to an X. So green being an X is actually just fine. Now, let's keep going with this example. Being a white crop key dot would put this as 2, 4, which is also fine. So I'm not really helping my case here, am I? What you've noticed with this messing around that I've done is I am going to actually use some colors. Let's call this, I don't know what's what. Let's call this green. Let's call this purple. This would have to be purple. It's essentially these 2 digits. They're also the low digits of 1, 2, 3, 4. And therefore this has to be green. And therefore this has to be purple. Now, this by definition also has to be green. Now, whether it's an X or a white crop key dot, it always shifts colors. So we're back to purple, and it's not the low purples, because we've used them in here. It has to be the high purples, because we've used them. And yes, whether 7 is shifting to 3 or 6, whether 9 is shifting to 1 or 8, I'm always shifting colors across these two. The X's and the V's, they change parity or polarity, and only one of them, therefore it is shifting color. So this is back to purple, this is back to green, and look at this beauty. This green we also know is not low. And therefore these have to be high digits, but they're not the 7 9s. They are the 6 8s, which by definition makes these the 1 3s. These are the 2 4s. And we have, I'm not going to say a break-in, that's a bit too far, and this is my 2 4. But actually I do have a break-in. Remember, because I've ran out of colors essentially, I've run out of low purple digits. This has to be 7 9. So essentially blue is my X with 1 3, and this is adding up to 5. Phenomenal work, gUBBLOR. This is not a 1, because with the black crop key dot it would have to be a 2, and I don't have a 2. This is my 3, this is my 6, this is my 1, this is my 3. That 3 gives me a 1 over here, a 9 over there to add up to 10. And these add up to 5, so that's my 4, that's my 2, that's my 2 over here. Fantastic puzzle so far. Remind me, these are white crop key dots, so 2 and 4 doesn't really help me, does it? And then in here, well, this 4 is all the way over here, and this is my 5. And then I just need to kind of remember enough about what all of these dots mean. So if that's a 9, I've broken the puzzle, because that would have to be a 1 to add up to 10, so that's not 9. That is my 9. And I think we probably have enough to just kind of crack on with this. 6 and 8 means this is not 3 6, not 4 8. This is 1 2 4 with a definite 2 on the black crop key dot. X's, they're not 6 8s. They would have to be 7 9 with 1 or 3, but it can't be 3. So it's not 3 7, it's not 3 7, it's 1 9, and therefore no 1 in here, it's a 2 4. And then we know what these 3 digits are. They are 3 5 7, not a 3, not enough. I have 5 7 9 in here, not enough again. This is an X, and it's not 3 7, and it's not 1 9. It is 2 8 or 4 6. The 6 would have to be here, 4 would have to be here, and the 2 and 8 could be anywhere. Not great. There's a definite 1 in one of these two cells now. I mean, the fact that the 1 is up here doesn't force this to be an 8, because I could absolutely have a 1-8 pair. And then that would be 4-6. And then I could still have an 8 down here. Where am I going with this? I'm not actually sure. 3-6, wakey wakey, 8-6-6. What am I missing in here? I need 1, 5, and 8. And this, so far, could be 5 or 8. This is not 1 or 5, that is a 5, and that is indeed 1-8, which makes this not 2-8. This is in fact 4-6. And what have I got in here? 7-8-9. Not hugely helpful. I probably shouldn't have pencil marked this. This 4 can't be in these 3 cells. In fact, it's just 2, 4. And then this is 2, 5, 7. Not 5, not 2. And then 1-8, 3. 1-3-8, not a 1. I don't know why I'm pencil marking all of these, but I usually ignore Sudoku far too often. This, of course, needs to shift, and it's not 1. To be fair, it could be 3. It could also be 6 or 8. Nope, not brilliant. This needs to add up to 10, and it's not 1-9, it's not 3-7. If it is 2 or 4, it's on this side because of this 2-4 pair, and this would be another 6-8. Which also means I have another 1-3, and then another 6-8. Yeah, not too sure actually. 1-3-6-8, done. 2-4 gives me a 5. And then the remaining digits are 1-3-6-8. 1 is in none of these. That's the 1. That's the 3. That's the 1. That adds up to... That's white crop kidot again. The white crop kidot is not proving helpful in this solution at all. That means this is 6 or 8. I've got my 1s and 3s. And this is 3-6-8. So no 8s in here. Is an 8 in there. And a 5 over here. Not a 5 there. Not hugely helpful again. Okay, these are 7-9s. Kind of hoping these last set of dots are going to actually help me do something. What was green again? Green adds up to 5. I've broken the puzzle. Because I have 1-3 in here. How did I manage that? No. What? Green was adding up to 10 or consecutive. That was true all along. How did I end up with 1-4? It should have been 3-2 all along or something like that. What have you done, sleuth? I'm so sorry. I must have flipped them round at some point. I established that blue is X, which makes sense. Green must have been the white Kropke dot, and then yellow must have been, oh goodness me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Not pretty at all. Sorry about this. How far am I going? Goodness me. Adds up to... This is 5. This is consecutive. I still have a problem with 3 and 6, don't I? No, because that makes this 1, which forces this to be a 2, forces this to be a 4. 4, 1, 3. That adds up to 5 now. So that was actually resolved all along. A bit embarrassing. Sorry about that. And these are consecutive, so that's an 8. This is a 10, so that's a 3. That's a 6. I think the less we talk about it, the better. This is not 1 or 3. This is 6 or 8. This is the black crop dot, so this is still 1, 2, 4 with a definite 2. That's not a 4. This is adding up to 10, and it's not 4, 6. It's not 2, 8. It's not 3, 7. It is 1, 9. So that removes the 1. That gives me a 2, 4. So this hasn't changed materially. Probably could have kind of wiggled myself around, so to speak. But 3, 5, 7, that does mean that's a 9. Of course, that was a 10, so that was there. Yeah, sorry about this. 8 is not here. 8 is up here. In fact, these two add up to 10. It's not 1, 9. It's not 3, 7. The 6 and 8 are not here. This is the 6 or 8. This is the 2 or 4. This is a 2, 4 pair. I need 6 or 8. Can't be 6. That's 6. That's 4. This is a 1, 8 pair now. And this is my 5. So a lot of what I've done is actually going to be still correct. That wasn't a 9. That is a 9. These are not 1, 9 or 3, 7. They are 2, 4, which can only be in here with 6 or 8. And in the rest of this column, I need another 6, 8 and another 1, 3. Yeah, not too sure. Oh yeah, it does give me my 5 again. The 1s still gives me my 1, my 3, my 1, my 2, my 4, my 6. Presumably my 8, my 6, my 3. Yeah. That gives me my 8 over here, my 7, 9 over there. That 8 had given me a 6 and an 8. There's a 2, 4, but it's not a 4. So none of this has changed. So I probably could have, as I said, figured it out from there. But anyway. Can't be a 5. I'll figure out that in a bit. Anything interesting? That's my 1. That is my 3. Then I have 5, 7, 2, 5, 7. Not a 2, not a 5. Not resolved. This is a known digit. It is, in fact, a 5. This is still 7, 9. That is not a 5. And yeah, not a huge amount has changed. Black crop dot in here, it can only be 2, 4 by the looks of things. It's not 3, 8, 3, 6, it's not 4, 8, and it's not 1, 2. That is resolved. That's 2, that's 4, that's 2. That is not 2 or 4, that is 7 or 9. It gives me a 7, 9 pair in the column. That's 1, that's 9. That gives me 7, 9, 7. Not 7 over here. That 7, of course, gave me more. That's 3. That is, in fact, resolved. 5 and 7. That 6, 8 isn't. Can I do any of these? Yes, 7, 5, 2, 9, 7. I know what this digit is. 6. No. Come on, sleuth. 3 adds up to 10. 7 gives me 8. Now this is 2 or 4 or 7 or 9. It can only be a 9. This is 5. This is 7. 1, 5. I need 6 and 8. Don't know. Remind me, green is white crop keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by the looks of things with a 9. That 4, 5. Yep, that is resolved. This is another 6 or 8. The black crop dot could only be 3, 6, which is 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, 3, 6, 1, and if I've not made any more silly mistakes, 2 for the finish. It is a thing of beauty, gUBBLOR. It absolutely is. I don't know where, like, I'm not tired. I've had a good restful day. Who knows? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle, and at least you kind of, other than sort of smacked your forehead when you saw what I've done there, enjoyed the video as well. I'm sure it was entertaining. And I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.